Thanks for the memories. I'm sorry that was just a really bad pun, but hey, it's your old pal Chuck, and we're back with another review. And today we are taking a look at from the Transformers Combiner Wars line. This is Leader Class Megatron, the G1 design. Um, Basically, Megatron has been revisioned to being a tank, which I think is based on the design from the comics, but actually, in the history of the character, it's been a tank more than pretty much anything else. The classic gun look was only for that G1, and unfortunately, that can't be done anymore. Apparently, not even in the Nerf type of design that we saw in the classics line. So here it is. Now, I also mentioned this is the G1 version. There are actually this and a running change, and I shouldn't say running change, but a variant that it's actually its casemate that's the same design with a new head. I think a new chest. I'm not sure, but it's the Armada Megatron, which explains why here, and a few other places on the figure you have Minicon ports. Um, both are available from Amazon. I actually got this one off of Amazon when it got in stock and the price dropped. There was a period where Amazon would get it in, and then it would sell out quickly. The theory being that it was the third-party sellers on Amazon buying them out just to resell them. But finally, that kind of died off, and I was actually able to get this with with a couple gift cards, and it really made the price quite reasonable. And I'm just happy to get it. You know, I think Armada Megatron is going to be around for a while, so you can probably much get that as a lower price, but we'll get into that a bit more later. One of the nice features with this design is rolling rubber treads. It's kind of working here on my backdrop, but as you can see, it's four different sets. The rubber's right there. Um, I don't know. This is like the first Transformer I've had in years with like the working rubber treads. I don't know how long that'll hold up. Um, I've heard people who've had figures from Revenge of the Fallen with rubber treads that it basically lasted a year or two before drying out and falling apart. I don't know if that has to do with storage or not, but I'm just pointing it out as a point of fact. Now, he does have these two blasters here on top that'll peg into the turret. The turret can rotate. Unfortunately, cannot go up and down. But one thing it can do is has a spring-loaded missile, which I am not afraid to demonstrate. So as I pull the camera out, the figure off of camera view, I'm going to push the little red button, and it's a respectable spring right there. Nothing too major, but you know it's a nice little red missile. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the vehicle mode. Let's get into the transformation. Okay, starting us off, what you want to go ahead and do is just remove the two guns here from the turret, and through the magic of the transformation, it can actually combine. There's a little slot here, little tab here, and this becomes a very nice handheld blaster that sort of reminiscent to the handheld guns from G2 Megatron. We'll get into that a little bit later in my finale, but we're going to just put this off to the side. Next, what you can do, just to make life easy for you, is go ahead and collapse the barrel of the tank into the turret. That'll just make things a little bit easier. Next, what you want to go ahead and do is come in the front here, separate and unpeg these front sections and rotate them down. Now, you don't want to, just going to rotate them down like so. We'll get to that a little bit later. Next, what you want to do, and we're going to have to start pulling this figure up, is you're going to unpeg these rear sections. At the same time, you want to just uh, detach this hip plate. Oop. Oh, it's all ratchet joints there. But basically the legs tab in on that little hip plate. Just flip it up, get it out of the way for the time being. What you then want to do is, if you haven't already, like I did, you know, open up the hip joints a little, give yourself a little room to work with, and then just rotate those side panels down. They will click into place, and then you can bring the leg back down straight, and then flip down the foot. Do this on the same side, just like that. Just bring it back down, and you can bring down the foot, And believe it or not, there you have Megatron's legs. Next, what you want to do is going to take the turret and you're just going to split it open, just like so. Basically, the much like on the Legends toy, um, this arm will peg into the side of the actual cannon barrel here, and that'll hold everything in place. And you just want to go ahead and bring that out, just like so. You can go ahead, flip up this little crotch piece, and that'll peg in friction right there. You can rotate the arm around, just like so. So you want to have that small part of the barrel facing down. Go ahead and rotate up the little wrist sections there on both arms. This will actually um, expose the hands. And then what you want to go ahead and do is flip down this chest section. That'll peg into place, revealing Megatron's head. Now, there's a lot that you can do with these back treads here. The official way for this design of Megatron is you want to slide them down on this like double hinge, bring them together, and peg them in the back. And basically make sure it's slid down all the way. And that's the official look for G1 Megatron. Armada Megatron, people can leave them up and fold it out, flat like I had them, but it's really up to you. I tend to just leave them like this. And there you have it, believe it or not. You have Leader Megatron in its robot mode. Um, and I think it's a really cool figure. Let me just say right now, there is no video I have seen, no picture I have seen that truly shows how great this figure is. I want to make that clear because you have to have this figure, G1 Megatron, in hand just to see how cool it is. The photos, not even mistransformed, photos and videos, they just don't. This just doesn't photograph well. Is the best way I can put it. Yes, there are issues with the articulation, but I think a lot of those issues have to deal with the fact that you're dealing with uh, people who want to do like yoga Ginsu poses with Megatron, and that just doesn't work with him. I mean, here you have like a typical Megatron pose, him firing out the cannon just like so, and it looks fine. Yeah, I know some people will have a problem with these little armpit joints, but it. I mean, people are going like crazy out like this and that, and I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work well. But again, that's not Megatron, and I think you have to, think of that. That Megatron doesn't do a lot of avant-garde, crazy posing and all, movements and all that. He's a general. He's a leader. Um, you know, this is this is it. He's not. If he fights, the moves are controlled. And I think you just need to go like that. There are plenty of ratchet joints on this figure, I do want to stress, so it does actually help in holding some of the poses. Another thing I want to mention is there are stickers. Now, I almost thought mine were lost, but actually what happened is they're in the little baggie with the collector's card. But they're also on white paper, which means you put them on, you'll lose a lot of that silver detail. Also, for me, Megatron is, was, and always will be a Decepticon, so there's no need to change the faction logo. This is probably the best G1 Megatron we're going to get in a very long time. Um, the robot mode is fairly close, minus the little tank parts here and there, but what are you going to do? Um, as you can see, I did rotate the cannon around, so if you wanted to get that wider barrel. But I got to tell you, like I said, the photos don't do it justice. That shorter end isn't that bad. There is the Armada version, which has a new head and a different paint scheme. I'm not sure about a different chest. I could be wrong. It's just how it's painted. Um, Both are available from Amazon. I would say go for the G1 Megatron since that tends to be the more popular one, and I think the Armada design will be around for a little bit that you can get it discounted or just get it at a more convenient time. Like I said, you have to experience this figure in hand. Photos and videos don't do it justice. This video will not do it justice. Definitely just pick it up. It's a great figure. It's an easy transformation without being too simple, and it's just a cool looking robot and tank. This is your old pal Chuck for G1 Megatron. We'll see you next time.